Usually keep these in my camera bag in case a filter gets stuck on one of the lenses. All you gotta do is wrap this around your filter. It gives you more leverage to unscrew it in case it gets stuck. And they're, you know, they pack flat. Super easy to carry in a camera bag. But I don't know if you guys knew this about elastics. It's the weirdest thing, right? If you put them between your fingers like this and lock the other one behind it so there's no way out, right? You can't get out this way, you can't get out this way. But right here in the middle, there's a soft spot where they just come apart. I just been trying to figure it out for so long and it doesn't make any sense. Ugh. Intro. What's up everybody, Peter McKinnon here and welcome back to another video. Ooh, today's a blast from the past, ladies and gentlemen. We're talking about one of the most beneficial, crucial, helpful filmmaking tools that you're just gonna grab for your kit and it's gonna go with you everywhere. I can't even stress it enough. I use this thing religiously for about 8 years every single day, and that is a monopod, but it's the specific model of monopod. I'm not being paid to say any of this. This is just a tool that I adapted early on into my workflow and it became invaluable to me, allowing me to get so many incredible camera movements without having to spend money on a gimbal, without having to spend money on a Steadicam or a glide cam or any sliders, nothing. Just this monopod did so many things for me. It allowed me to get slider shots, moving shots, shots up high, shots down low, super nice pans and tilts, just a whole myriad of things this monopod was able to do. And for that reason, I felt the need, the desire to make a video on it today. And as proof, here's a couple photos from like 5-6 years ago. This is me using it on the street in my old job. I used to have the C100 on it with a lapel mic and I would rock that thing for days, like all day, from like 10 a.m. until 10 p.m. and it did everything. There wasn't anything else I brought with me. If I had to go on a shoot, I'd bring the camera, lenses, all that stuff, and my monopod. If I didn't have my monopod, I'd be like, can't do this. So I'm gonna run through with you guys 5 different techniques that you can do using your monopod. Should you have this one? Should you buy this exact model or something like it? These are 5 camera moves that you can do and a few examples to just, you know, make your videos a little bit better without having to break the bank, because let's be honest, gear is expensive and we don't always want to drop that coin when we don't have to. Let's begin. So let's just start with the basic lean. Holding that monopod with your camera stable on the front with the extended arm that comes out the side, just leaning forward and leaning back is gonna get you really nice smooth pans. What's really great about this particular move is revealing a subject, revealing somebody, like my friend Gabriel here leaning against this fence, checking out some shots on the camera, being able to start really close and just lean backwards to reveal more of the scene or just a landscape, anything like that. This move is particularly good at it. I love doing this. Another nice thing about this tripod is because it has 3 feet, if you want to lean even more forward, you'll see the feet have a ball bearing at the top and that can only go so far. But if you continue going, a little trick, you just go past the allowed movement of that ball bearing and the feet kind of tip up on their tippy toes, if you will, and you've got even more range past that. So you could start with the feet tipped up, pan all the way back, continue rocking back with that ball bearing, and you've got a really nice range of motion for a really dramatic, kind of cinematic looking lean shot. I use this all the time, it's fantastic. All right, second up, you have the lean and tilt. Because this monopod has the option of getting it with a fluid head, that fluid head is a nice pan and tilt up and down. So when you're leaning forward and back with that camera, if you want to start with the camera pointed up high, you're gonna tilt that camera down as you're leaning forward. You're gonna get really, really nice shots. The same thing as starting with it straight up, pointing straight into the sky, and just leaning forward slightly as you let that pan head just kind of tilt itself down automatically because it's a fluid head. A fluid head, based on the amount of pressure you have on the adjustment knob on the side, if you let it go, it might just go fast. If you tighten that knob down a little bit, it goes nice and slow. But these are kind of just beautifully smooth camera moves that you don't need any electronics for. You just untighten that knob and you let it go. So when you work on that with a lean, with some kind of camera move, you can get some extremely incredible results. Here's me just messing around, shooting some trees straight up, doing the whole lean thing. Nothing crazy, but just to show you guys the movement that you can get with something just like a monopod. Okay, next up is the inverted follow. That's if you want to follow someone walking down a pathway, if you want to follow something along the ground, a car, something driving, a bicycle, anything like that where you're following nice and low, just gonna flip the monopod completely upside down. You can hold it by the top because it's 3-pronged feet. You can get your hand in there real nice like a bird claw. You can just hold the top there and you can just float it along the ground, keeping an even distance between you and your subject. You can get those nice feet shot like I do all the time when I'm traveling, or like I said, following someone on a one wheel or anything at all, an animal, whatever requires a follow shot nice and low. That is a great way to do it without having to take the camera off or use anything else. You're just inverting it completely. You're walking heel toe, so you get that nice smooth steady cam walk, the ninja walk, which is heel first, toe. You don't want a big step stomping around. You're just nice and easy. And then if that's not even smooth enough for you, you can warp stabilize that after in post. I shoot all of these in 120 so that it actually makes that footage for me more stable right in camera. So if you're shooting at a higher frame rate, like 120, it's gonna do that for you. So that's the inverted follow. Very easy to do. Flip it around, have at it. All right, next up is just extending the monopod as far as it goes so it becomes a giant staff. You're gonna hold that thing high in the air so you can get shots that you wouldn't normally be able to get without having a ladder or being on top of a building or a zip line or stilts or a jetpack or something like that. But it works a lot better than you think it might, especially if you're shooting in 120 again. So you hold that up, you're able to just kind of rock that back, get a crazy vantage point, even lowering it down so it looks like you might be using a jib. Now some of you might say, the heck's a jib, Peter? That's a crane shot. So when you see a starting shot out of a movie or something where it starts low, pans up really high, or maybe it comes down high and that crane moves all the way into someone driving and they get out of their car and you're thinking, how is that done? It's usually done with a jib. So this is like the poor man's jib where you can just hold it up really, really high and start to bring it down slowly, and then you can correct for any kind of extra camera shake in post. Now, are these ideal techniques? Are these the go-to at all times no matter what? No. These are just some of the things I've been doing over the past maybe 10 years here with the monopod, shooting with it 8 out of those 10 years. So these have worked really well for me over the time. Here's a shot of me doing this in New York back in 2012. I was getting a close-up shot of those hanging lights because they looked great, but they were way too high. So I just extended that thing, did a little sweeping slider shot way up there, and it worked out beautifully. So it seems very simple, but it is very effective when you have something like this that can extend that high. Okay, next up is the whip pan. Now, being able to pan left and right is very, very efficient when you can do it fast, especially if you want to whip into another scene or start on this scene and whip into this scene. But being able to do it handheld sometimes isn't the best because the camera goes up too high or you're panning down. You kind of got this vertical angle going on because you can't keep it perfectly straight. Whereas when you have it on a monopod with that pivot ball bearing at the very base with the feet, you're able to just whip back and forth very seamlessly without a lot of camera movement. So like I said again, so if you don't have a gimbal that does a high-speed whip pan, something like this is a great substitute if you don't want to just do it handheld. All right, so a little bonus tip I'm going to throw in there because I've used this particular model for so long is those feet are really great, but a good tip is to keep one of your feet on its foot so that when you're rocking those lean moves, it's not going to jump up on you or move out of the way to cause some kind of shake in your footage. I always keep my foot on there just for safety in case someone walks by or might trip on it or who knows. It just kind of anchors it in the ground a little bit more. I like that. So it's a dumb little thing, but just keep your foot on it. Another really nice thing about this that I really like is there's a level built into it. So if you bring that pan tilt head back to, 100%, you want to lock that off so it's nice and straight and level. So if you're doing an interview or you're just holding that camera secure while someone's talking, you know that you have it locked off level. It's always nice to have. I know it's a little thing, but those little things, when you add them all up, just make a good product. Keep in mind also, these are just techniques that you can adapt to any monopod. I'm not saying buy this one. I'm not saying this is the be all end all. This is the one that I used for like 8 years straight, but by no means am I saying it is the definitive. You can use any of these techniques with anything that has a straight one leg support, right? If you want to put your camera on a tripod and collapse 2 of the legs so you only have 1 leg sticking down, that would work fine too. This monopod just has the features built into it, like the fluid head. You've got your hand on the body, you've got the feet on the ground, you've got your other hand on the handle. That's giving you a really secure setup. That's why I like it so much. So I started using a monopod like this back in 2009 when I got an internship working with a filmmaking film house, kind of production house, and they had like 15 of them. These guys took these monopods everywhere. It was life or death. They were never shooting without them. They had them on the fields while they were shooting NFL games for a certain contract, Army Navy games. They had them in wedding films and corporate shoots. Anytime they would head out into the field, these monopods were coming with them. When I finally left that place and I went to work for another company that I worked for 8 years just before I became a YouTuber full time, I adapted that monopod and used that for 8 years of every single video shoot that we did. So when we were on the street, when we were walking around, it was my right hand man. It was my one go-to item that I depended on entirely. The other nice thing about it is it fit in the overhead with no problems. I never had any problems bringing it to any countries. So with all those benefits, including the travel and the size, it was just the right product to bring everywhere. I almost left it in Vancouver once. I remember I leaned it up against the ticket counter and I did all my passport stuff, got my ticket, went all the way through security and sat down. And then I realized, so I went back through security, ran back to the ticket counter. It was still leaning against it. I came back through to everything again. They were like, wait, weren't you just? It's like, long story. Monopod. What? Just never mind. Don't even worry about it. What's a it's, you know what a tripod? Yeah, one leg. But isn't that just... So that's it, guys. That's it for me. I hope you enjoyed this video. That was just kind of like a little spotlight, if you will, on a tool that helped me out a lot for the past 10 years shooting video, both professionally, amateur, and fun. It was just something that I thought I would pass on so that maybe you guys could benefit from the same thing I did. I hope you enjoyed it. Links below to a couple options if you want to check out monopods. If not, that's totally cool too. I hope you have a fantastic day. Hit that like button if you like this video. Smash it if that's something that you're into. Just go ahead and just take it and just click that button there. Hit the bell if you want to be notified each time I upload a video. Subscribe if you aren't already, and I will see you next week. Peace.